Y'all, this is straight up insane. We thought we'd seen all the drama unfold on Love and Hip Hop, but trust me, baby, you ain't ready for this. Yandy Smith, the queen of reality TV, the self-proclaimed perfect mother, the woman who's been preaching about loyalty and family values for years, just got exposed in the most shocking way imaginable. Because guess what? Yandy didn't just lose her temper, she put her hands on Lil Mendeecees. Yes, you heard that right. Yandy slapped Lil Mendeecees across the face like it was nothing. And the worst part? Mendeecees caught her in the act. Imagine walking into your house expecting to see your family chilling, and instead, you walk in on your wife slapping your son. And Mendeecees?
Oh, he snapped.
He didn't just confront her. He threw her out of the house in front of Lil Mendeecees, the neighbors, and even the paparazzi. Yandy tried to play it off, tried to explain herself, but Mendeecees? Baby, he was done. And now the internet is dragging Yandy through the mud. But what really happened behind closed doors? How long has this been going on? And is Yandy about to lose everything? Oh, you better sit down for this one because the receipts? They are juicy. Let's break this all the way down. Alright, y'all, let's really get into this mess because trust me, this one is messier than anything we've ever seen before. What you're about to hear. Oh, it's about to change everything you thought you knew about Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris. This is not just some petty reality TV drama. This is full-on, career-ending, reputation-destroying, relationship-shattering level drama. So let's take it back because you need to know how it all went down. Yandy Smith and Mendeecees Harris, the so-called power couple of love and hip-hop. We've seen them stand together through cheating scandals, financial problems, and even Mendeecees' time behind bars. Through all the drama, Yandy has presented herself as the supportive wife and the perfect stepmother to Lil Mendeecees. She's been out here smiling for the cameras, doing interviews about how hard it was holding down the family while Mendeecees was locked up and acting like she was the glue keeping the family together. But baby, behind closed doors, it was a whole different story. According to insiders close to the family, Yandy's behavior toward Lil Mendeecees started changing months ago. It started small, passive-aggressive comments, side eyes, and cold vibes. Lil Mendeecees started withdrawing, avoiding Yandy, spending more time with his friends, and even getting quiet on social media. At first, people thought maybe he was just going through teenage stuff. But nah, this was deeper than that. And apparently, Mendeecees started noticing the change too. He started asking questions, but Yandy? She brushed it off, blaming Lil Mendeecees' attitude and disrespectful behavior. But then, the real tea started spilling. Because it turns out, Yandy wasn't just giving Lil Mendeecees a hard time, she was straight up bullying him. Word on the street is that Yandy had been having a hard time keeping things together ever since Mendeecees got back home. Insiders say that Mendeecees wasn't exactly bringing in the money like before, and Yandy was feeling the pressure. She was frustrated, stressed, and reportedly taking it out on Lil Mendeecees. An insider said, Yandy felt like she was doing everything. Running the house, taking care of the business, raising the kids, and she started resenting Lil Mendeecees for it. And that's when the emotional abuse started. Yandy reportedly started calling Lil Mendeecees ungrateful, lazy, and a burden. At first, it was just words. But then, things got physical. Sources say Yandy would get aggressive when Lil Mendeecees didn't listen. She'd grab his arm, push him aside, and one time, she allegedly yanked his phone out of his hand so hard it shattered. But what happened next? Baby, that's when it went too far. It all came crashing down one night when Mendeecees came home early from a business trip. Apparently, Yandy and Lil Mendeecees had gotten into a small argument earlier in the day over something ridiculous, probably about homework or chores. Lil Mendeecees walked away, thinking it was over. But Yandy? Oh, she wasn't done. Mendeecees walked through the front door and immediately felt like something was off. He could hear shouting coming from upstairs, Yandy's voice. He dropped his bag and ran up the stairs straight toward Lil Mendeecees' room. And when he opened that door, Yandy was standing over Lil Mendeecees, screaming at him. The poor kid was in tears, backed up against the wall, looking terrified. And then it happened. Yandy's hand shot out, and she slapped Lil Mendeecees across the face.
Yes.
Yandy Smith, the same woman who's been preaching about family values on love and hip-hop for years, slapped Lil Mendeecees across the face like he was some random stranger. And Mendeecees? He saw it happen with his own eyes. Baby, when I tell you Mendeecees lost it, Mendeecees lunged forward, grabbed Yandy's arm before she could raise her hand again, and yelled, "Have you lost your damn mind?" Yandy looked shook. Lil Mendeecees was standing there, crying, and Mendeecees was standing between them like a protective wall. Yandy started stammering, trying to explain herself, but Mendeecees wasn't hearing any of it. "You put your hands on my son? Are you crazy?" Yandy started crying. She said Lil Mendeecees was acting out and that he needed to be disciplined. But Mendeecees? He was done. "Get out." Yandy's mouth dropped open. "I said, get out." Yandy stood there in disbelief. She tried to argue, but Mendeecees wasn't letting her get a word in. He stormed over to the closet, grabbed her suitcase, and threw it at her feet. "Pack your stuff and get out." At first, Yandy thought he was bluffing. But then Mendeecees picked up the phone and called security.
Yes.
Mendeecees called security on his own wife. 2 security guards showed up at the house within minutes. Yandy was still crying, still trying to plead with Mendeecees, but he just stood there, arms crossed, stone cold, as they escorted her out. Yandy tried one last time to reason with him, but Mendeecees cut her off. "You think you're staying here after what you did to my son? Hell no." And y'all, when Yandy walked out of that house, the paparazzi were already there. Cameras flashing, questions flying, Yandy covering her face, looking completely humiliated. And Mendeecees? He just stood there, watching her walk away. No emotion, no regret.
Done.
Within minutes, the story hit social media. Hashtag Yandy Exposed was trending within an hour. The memes? Savage. People were dragging Yandy left and right. Yandy really slapped a kid and thought we wouldn't find out? Mendeecees did the right thing. Yandy's whole career is done. Even other celebrities jumped in. And baby, this story? Oh, it's far from over. Because the fallout from the scandal? Oh, it's about to get even messier. And trust me, Mendeecees, he's not done exposing Yandy just yet. Y'all, if you thought this story couldn't get any messier, baby, you are not ready for what's coming next. Because guess what? Yandy was not about to go down quietly. Nope. The same woman who got caught slapping Lil Mendeecees and was thrown out of the house in front of the whole neighborhood. Yeah, she's now plotting a comeback. And the way she's moving? Oh, it's shady as hell. Let's pick up exactly where we left off because this situation went from messy to full-blown war real quick. Yandy had just been escorted out of the house by security, her mascara running, her reputation in shambles, and the paparazzi catching every moment of her downfall. Most people would have gone into hiding after that level of public humiliation. But Yandy?
Nah.
Instead of laying low, Yandy went full damage control mode. She started calling up people in the industry, trying to flip the narrative. And baby, the way she tried to spin the story? Oh, it's giving desperate. According to sources close to the situation, Yandy immediately reached out to her PR team and started working on a statement. And let me tell you, it was giving delusion. Apparently, Yandy's version of the story was that she lost her temper because Lil Mendeecees had been acting out and pushing her limits. She tried to make it sound like she was the victim in the situation, like she was just trying to discipline a disrespectful child. Excuse me? This is the same woman who just got caught red-handed putting her hands on Lil Mendeecees, and now she's trying to play the victim? Oh, Yandy, this ain't it. But it gets worse. Because Yandy wasn't just trying to save face, she was plotting her way back into that house. Yep, you heard me right. Yandy reportedly told her PR team that her top priority was to get back in Mendeecees' good graces. Because let's be real, Yandy wasn't about to let that love and hip-hop money dry up. According to one source, Yandy knows that if this goes left, she could lose everything. Her reputation, her deals, her standing on the show. She's desperate to fix this. So what did Yandy do? Oh, she pulled the oldest trick in the book. She tried to guilt-trip Mendeecees. Less than 24 hours after getting kicked out, Yandy showed up at the house, dressed down, no makeup, looking like she'd been crying all night. She knocked on the door, and when Mendeecees opened it, y'all, the crocodile tears started flowing immediately. She was shaking, sobbing, and begging for another chance. Please, Mendeecees, I messed up. I know I did, but we've been through too much for you to just throw me away like this. Mendeecees just stood there, arms crossed, not saying a word. Yandy kept going. I love you. I love our family. I lost control. I didn't mean to hurt him. At this point, Lil Mendeecees had come to the door, standing behind his father. And y'all, he was not feeling it. Apparently, Lil Mendeecees looked at Yandy and said, "You didn't mean to hurt me? You hit me." Oh, baby. When I tell you Yandy's face froze, phew. She tried to cover it up with more fake tears, but it was clear that Lil Mendeecees was done. And Mendeecees? He wasn't falling for it either. He calmly told Yandy, "You need to leave." Yandy tried to argue, but Mendeecees stepped in front of Lil Mendeecees and said, "If you can't respect my son, you don't deserve to be in this house." And then he closed the door in her face. But baby, Yandy wasn't done yet. Apparently, Yandy went straight to social media after that. And that's when the real damage control started. She posted a long, emotional Instagram story talking about how hard it is to be a parent and how she's been under so much stress lately. She didn't deny what happened, but she made it sound like it was a one-time thing. "Nobody's perfect," she wrote. "I made a mistake, but I'm human. I just hope people can understand that I'm doing my best." The comments? Oh, they were not having it. "Girl, you slapped a child. There's no coming back from that. You weren't stressed, you were abusive. Stop trying to play the victim. We saw what happened." Even some of Yandy's Love and Hip Hop cast members jumped in. Tamar Braxton tweeted, "Accountability isn't that hard, sis." Cardi B posted a shady IG story that said, "Stress ain't an excuse for violence." But the most savage reaction? That came from none other than Rashida. Rashida hopped on live and said, "See, that's why I stay out of other people's business. 'Cause when the truth comes out, phew." And then she sipped her wine. Yandy was getting dragged across every platform: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the blogs. But even after all that backlash, Yandy was still plotting. Apparently, she started reaching out to producers from Love and Hip Hop to try and control how this scandal was being edited for the next season. Yes, Yandy thought she could spin this into a redemption arc. A source close to production said, "Yandy's trying to get ahead of the storyline. She knows this will play out on the show, and she's desperate to make herself look like the victim."
And you know what?
The producers were eating it up. Because let's be real, messy drama equals ratings. But here's where things took a turn. Because while Yandy was out here trying to spin the narrative, Mendeecees was already taking the next step. According to sources, Mendeecees has already met with his lawyers, and he's considering filing for divorce. Yes, divorce. An insider said, Mendeecees isn't playing. He feels betrayed, and he's not sure if he can ever trust Yandy again. And if that wasn't enough, Mendeecees has also been in contact with Child Protective Services, because he's determined to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again. The fact that Mendeecees is even considering legal action? Oh baby, that tells you everything you need to know about how serious this is. And Yandy? She's panicking. Apparently, she's already started calling around to mutual friends, trying to get them to talk to Mendeecees on her behalf. But Mendeecees? He's not hearing any of it. A source said, Mendeecees is done. He's focused on protecting his son, not fixing his marriage. And honestly, can you blame him? But here's the real question. If Mendeecees actually goes through with the divorce, what does that mean for Yandy's future on Love and Hip Hop? Because let's be real, Yandy's entire storyline was about being the supportive wife. And without Mendeecees, Yandy's position on the show is looking real shaky. And baby, this story ain't even close to over. Because while Yandy's out here trying to rebuild her reputation, Mendeecees is out here making moves. And the way things are looking, oh, Yandy is about to lose way more than just her marriage. And the craziest part? The next twist in this story? It's going to shock you. Turning Lil Mendeecees against her? Excuse me? You mean to tell me that after slapping Lil Mendeecees, Yandy is now trying to play the victim mother card? Oh, baby, this is a whole new level of delusion. Apparently, Yandy was claiming that Mendeecees unfairly threw her out of the house and was using the child to hurt her emotionally. She even tried to make it sound like this was part of a larger pattern of emotional abuse from Mendeecees. An insider said, Yandy's whole strategy is to flip the narrative. If she can make herself look like the victim, she might be able to get back in the house and back into M's life. But M? He wasn't playing along. According to sources, when Yandy's lawyers tried to set up a meeting with Mendeecees to discuss custody, Mendeecees responded with a simple message: "Tell her to talk to my lawyer." Phew. Mendeecees was not about to entertain this foolishness. He had already made up his mind. Yandy crossed the line, and there was no coming back from it. But what happened next? That's when things got nasty, because Yandy wasn't just trying to fight this battle in the courtroom. She was trying to win the PR war. Yandy called up her old friends in the media and started leaking stories left and right. Suddenly, blogs were posting articles about how Mendeecees was controlling and how Yandy had been living under emotional stress for years. One headline even read, "M's toxic control over Yandy." The truth finally comes out. And guess who was quoted as the source? A close friend of Yandy. Yandy was trying to make it seem like she was the victim, that Mendeecees had been emotionally abusive for years, and that this whole situation was just a breaking point for her. Excuse me? The internet was not buying it. People started flooding the comments of these articles with, "Small blue diamond. Oh, now you're the victim? You slapped a kid, and now you're crying about being controlled? Girl, sit down." And Mendeecees? Oh, baby. He wasn't about to let Yandy spin this into some sympathy play. A few days after Yandy's team leaked those stories, Mendeecees sat down for an exclusive interview with a major entertainment outlet. And when I tell you he let it all out, phew. In the interview, M didn't hold back. "I don't care what Yandy says to the press.
She knows what she did.
My son knows what she did. And anyone trying to twist this into something else? They weren't there." When the interviewer asked if there was any chance of reconciliation, Mendeecees shut it down immediately.